All right. So, Delok,
Mm.
you want to introduce yourself?
Oh, yes. My name is Dilak Patangi. I'm a Washoe from here, Lake Tahoe, Washishu, an original being of this land, and also a teacher for the Mountain Eagle School and guide and supporter for Sky Spirit Shamans and
Mhm.
educating the people.
We appreciate you so much.
Mm. And
I'm,
you?
I'm Denise Sheehan of Sage Spirit Coaching and Reiki and Sky Spirit Shamans. And so Delak has had a lot of things on his heart, on his mind. And so I thought it would be really nice. We thought it would be really nice to just create a space for him to say whatever it is he feels he needs to say in order to like clear us of the old paradigm and step us into the new one. And maybe there's some clearing that needs to happen, and maybe it's just visionary, but whatever it is, take it away, Delok.
I
Like, get
know.
us started.
I know,
Mm-hmm.
huh? Well, it's interesting because when we're living in this world today, we always look at all the things that we have experienced, right? And so I think to myself, when I was born with a whole bunch of experience that I have got through my whole life now, experiencing, still not having a resolve, because it seems as though the description of AI, which is artificial intelligence, to me has always been a artificial identity.
Mm-hmm.
So the description of those two things have always been in conflict with me my whole life. And as we are in this world today in the new paradigm, now I'm able to say this pretty much out loud and without the idea of going against the grain. Because in this new paradigm, it has to do with the nation of human beings, not the nation of individual tribal groups from whatever part of the landmass that exists.
So, what is the when it comes to artificial identity? How does that show up for the indigenous peoples of this country? How's that shown up for you?
It's like this, that whole construct of creating an artificial identity is to allow a person to take a continent from somebody else and make up your story. And then as the story goes, pretty soon you eliminate the original being, and now the artificial being actually becomes the original being or the real identity in the artificial design system.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is what I've been contending with for so many years, is to maintain what my elders had told me as maintaining an authentic identity. And that's staying connected to the spirit and staying connected to the earth and allowing yourself to receive and pass information along to those that can make that useful information.
And part of that is what you talk about is perpetual succession. Tell us what that is.
Um, that's an interesting word because I really don't understand the meaning, but I know that what perpetual succession means is to me is uh, passing on something that was given to me and doesn't belong to me. It belongs to us.
Mm-hmm.
The future belongs to the experience of being here on Earth and that clarity of what it was that knowledge had been given to us for to pass down through oral history and the longevity of experience. That everything that we had, we didn't need anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so but we had to maintain a way of learning, a way of living on it, respecting it, honoring it, and being able to take for what we need and be able to make sure that it was being given, something was given back. And in this world today, in the artificial being, you can take, and not have to look back at where the things that had been taken. But the things that have been taken, it was from nature.
Mm-hmm.
This earth only has so much to provide for all of us. And the more we take, the less nature has. But now we've gone to the point where we don't even care about nature because we got so much money, so much oil, so much resources. We go up into the planet, other planets, that we can save the animal right now if we wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
So in a human being's mind, we're saying, well, the artificial being is okay because we can correct it if we wanted to, even though we're not. If we wanted, we could.
Yeah.
But in the original identity is you never left your responsibility for the connection you had with the nature. And if you did wrong, you yourself would know it. And so now, by the artificial being, they don't know they're even doing wrong because they're not connected to it the same in the authentic way.
In a way, when we talk about perpetual succession, it is the essence of, to me, of being a shaman, which is a controversial word, I realize. The essence of shamanism, as I experience it, is we're responsible for the health of the community and for stewardship of the earth. And that's inherent in perpetual succession, that we look out for one another, including the animals and the air and the water and the plants. And we look out for our families and our communities and make sure everybody is cared for.
Yeah. And shamans and medicine people and things like those kinds of words are just semantics. Again, they call it a word game that they say English is a lying language. Well, any language you can probably lie if you figured it out. But the thing about the language itself is not a lying language. It's the person that's telling the story. And if a person wants to tell a lie and know it and then live with it, remember that's your experience and your energy that you're passing down to the next generations. So if you're teaching them something that is not real, they're not going to know where to go later on in life.
Mm-hmm.
You have to teach them something that's real, and so they can continue to pass that on.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, separating each other through words and saying this person is that or who you think this is that, I think it all comes down to an authentic being identity on earth here. And now we realize that we've been here for so long. We have a group of people we live with, and that's called each other.
Mm-hmm.
And as we be with each other, what do the things we do? Well, there's all kinds of things because there's young babies, children, teenagers, adults, and old people. So you have a whole array of things that need to be happening.
Mm-hmm.
And so for us to see that is to figure out those ways that we can continue to integrate together.
Mm-hmm.
Then we can figure out what each other wants to do, because there's a lot of things to do together. Practice, to play, to get smarter, to share information, to do the work that needs to be done around the community, and that's what people always don't know. What do I do? Well, listen to spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And if you listen to spirit, you'll know what to do. Nobody needs to tell you what to do. You can all look around and see there's stuff that needs to be done.
I think that's part of the artificial identity trap, though, right? Because a lot of us live in a culture of busyness, where we're trading our time for money, where we're exhausted, where we become consumers to purchase the next thing to bring more happiness, or the next vacation or whatever, because our lives can sometimes be too consumed with doing in order for us to slow down, feel fulfillment, feel connection, feel our connection to spirit. It requires a certain amount of leisure to do that. And not all of us can do that if we're working multiple jobs and just trying to get by, just trying to feed our families. And the majority of people do live like that. And we know what that is too. And yeah, so what wisdom would you share with those who are just struggling to get by, and how to connect more deeply with spirit?
Well, that's interesting, because I had a good answer, and it was just more of just a quick answer. But my grandma, remember what my grandma said?
Mm-hmm.
It's so interesting because I was growing up, and now probably my maybe 19, 20 years old. I went partied that night, and got back home. And I was staying up with my grandma, and I get up with her every day to have breakfast and stuff. And that morning, I didn't want to get up because I partied that night, and I was partied because the life I was living, I wasn't happy, because I want to live traditional life with the way that the tradition was, but wasn't living. So kind of on its way out, they say. So the world I was living around was always, like you say, flash. You always want to be doing something busy and all that. So you never realize. So anyway, so I went partied, and I had a hard night. So that morning, my grand came to the room and I hear her come knock on the door because I didn't want to get up. And she says, "You're going to get up?" And I told her, "Why I got to get up?" Because, the world's a bad world. She says, "To live." And for my grandma to say that to me, it brought me right back home to realize in life, we all have to live. We all have to make the choice to get up in life and do what we have to do. And I've been so lucky to have the grandmother I had to give me the information she gave me, because every time I think about these things, about my life and what I've done in my life, that it always comes back to them, my grandma and grandpa, my dad, my mom, what they gave me guidance and what I received and what I, learned from my own not listening. But as she told me that, I think about all of our whole world that we live in. And if people were given the truth about identity and, having, like Jose says, 15 cosmic lives. I mean, does anybody even know what that means? That means your memory is 15 times one, So to know that and to know all these other things, you have to be passed on with oral knowledge and oral a foundation of information. And everybody can start off today. I mean, every nation can start off in their own place right now by passing the information down to the next generation with good advice, with good knowledge. But this artificial one, everybody's lying. I mean, my God, everywhere I go, I can't tell the truth because people are looking to steal something from me. They call it NDA or non-disclosure agreements and contracts and proprietary information.
Intellectual property.
What the God? So physically, we become an artificial being a physical being. So now, under this artificial design, you are now a citizen. And a citizen isn't a free human, diplomatic, sovereign human being anymore. It's a slave. The definition for citizen is not equal. It's a slave. And in this construct of this country, there's a hierarchy, and a citizen is at the bottom. Even though they say all you together make up one, you can make the decisions for the top down. Good luck. For the nation of the people we are, human beings, we allow the land, animal, air, and water, and human to vote for our circumstances here on Earth. And so we don't leave the natural world or natural laws outside the construct of our design, in our practices, in our beliefs, and when we talk to the spirit. So by doing that, we've now authenticated our original self. So all the information we give, you can believe it or not. I don't have to prove it. It's been known for generations that this kind of information is pertinent to a longevity of experience in life and livelihood. And the artificial one, well, everybody's still questioning where it's going. I had a joke about that one, but I'm not going to say it.
Not for kids?
No, not for kids. But it really takes a really intelligent human being human, to bring all this information together to finally allow ourselves as beings being human not to go backwards in evolution. We've gone backwards right now in evolution. If nobody wants to believe it, well, take a look around. Everything you have no control of, that's backwards. Homeless and hungry, that's way beyond backwards. That means you left out your own brothers and sisters inside the circle of wealth.
The rape and pillage of the earth at the, to over provide for us. It's de-evolution for sure.
We'll get back to it, though. There's a way to do this, and the common ground that we need to take right now is to allow ourselves to realize there's a body of the spiritual bloodlines of the world here in this continent right now. And if those spiritual bloodlines in this continent could sit down together and come together and sit down and talk, we would have not only a solution, but we would have a design system that the next generations can rely on as being a very positive direction to go into.
Mhm.
So, this is where I was leading with what we're talking about, because as semantics takes us into description of so many different things, if we can categorize it into an artificial design system, now we don't have to integrate our authentic system, because the authentic system is already existent within its own integral design.
Mm. Well, I think, the artificial system is sort of crumbling before our eyes, and it's creating a lot of fear in the collective consciousness.
And
Um, and that's one of the things that I've been feeling a lot as an empath, is feeling into the fear that people feel as things start to get wonky. But to look at it from Eagle View, this is just an opportunity to let some really broken things fall away completely and build entirely different structures. And you, as Mountain Eagle, are, among those, I think I'm included as well,
Mhm.
who are holding more of a vision of what is possible to create. And, part of that is returning Indigenous people to leadership in this country, to make sure that the air and the earth and the water and the animals are all spoken for. And, for a lot of us to come into that role of being the stewards of the earth, of being the caretakers of the communities and families, to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to thrive. We've left too many people behind and who are not thriving. And that number is growing, especially in this time of pandemic, when the economy is not providing for those who have already been struggling the most.
well, I look at it this way, to think of an artificial identity and original identity or authentic identity is, we have medicines all over here that help us to not get sick, And like I said, we stay well because of the medicine. We have a medicine here that keeps us well. We don't get sick. The influenza sickness, as long as we maintain our use of it. But as this medicine is now taken and used in the pharmaceutical companies and sold in the stores, now that it's available to everybody, why is everybody getting sick? Well, they can't afford it, or the health association or medical associations don't want to get the medicine to give it to the people so they don't get sick. What is an artificial world doing when they have a medicine that they can make you well with, and instead they don't give it to you because you're better off sick in their design system?
Mm.
If you're sick, you make more money. This stimulates the economy. It's better for all of us.
What do you want to tell them about DOTSA?
Yeah, well, the DOTSA, it's the root medicine. It's an immune builder, and as you take it, it builds your immune system up. And just like any other disease in this country, that viruses that are coming out, our system has to build up our immune system and be able to blend that other disease or sickness in our system, because it's airborne now. The people that created this is intentional. They're making not only the slave a slave through citizenship and agreements, but they're also making you dependent on drugs and stuff for your survival. I mean, there's not going to be a choice anymore about what it is you can and can't do. You have to, because there's no choice. So for us to be able to go out there and gather this medicine and keep ourselves well for not getting this virus and not being sick, and for even our elderly that are weak, if they had this medicine, they could build their systems up and they won't be sick, because when you get older, your system gets weak. So I think about it like that, of why would we want to be an artificial system where they won't give you the medicine you want, but over here the medicine was given to us by God.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just up to us how we're going to bring this together in the body of the international spiritual bloodlines of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And they come together to make a formal council for us, then we can actually, I think, see ourselves as a movement towards the future next generations recovering from period of time that almost took us out.
Mhm.
You know?
One of the stories about this root that Talak is talking about, this healing root that helps build immune system. It's it's a very powerful herb, and I'm sure that there are similar herbs that are located all over the country. If we, if we want to get in touch with our local herbalist, we could do that and find out some natural ways to build our systems and become more resilient during these times of change. Because the fear that's going around also takes away from our immune systems. It's very damaging. And so to keep ourselves in a space of acknowledging what is, but at the same time, seeing the eagle view and what's possible, and focusing on the good things that we can create from that space, and taking care of our physical bodies during that time, building our immune systems. So there's an actual product that you can purchase online or maybe with your local herbalist that we can't obviously give you medical advice, but it's called LDM 100. And we found that tincture gives us a lot of resiliency, but there may be other things that are, common to the indigenous people in your community.
And even if like ours have it here, that's why in the case of doing this interview is it kind of gets out there too. But for me, is we Native people have had these medicines. How come we're all getting sick? I mean, how come the tribes out there in the other areas are getting sick? How come the old people are dying off? How come we can't give them the medicine? How come my people ain't getting on this corporate structure and sending the medicine out to these people? They sold it to the pharmaceutical companies. How come they can't give it to the people? And so, like you're saying the same thing, and they should be able to look in these stores for this remedy when, all this information is crazy on how the things that can really help us are unknown, and then the things that we're supposed to be doing, we're waiting for somebody else to do it for us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think we ought to just step up and just be more of what we say we're going to be doing. Like now, this interview, I think this will help us to let people know out there that it's a new paradigm. You can think what you want. You can tell each other the story all you want over and over and be the loudest person. Eventually, we get to talk. Eventually, the people that get to talk, that have something to say, is going to have to get the chance to talk. And those that are doing all the loud talking, remember, everything you say is covering up the lies that are going on around us. Remember that. And I believe in myself. Whenever I come around, people get uncomfortable with me there because they know they've lied. I'm not I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't say anything wrong. But they always told me that I'm breaking down tribal sovereignty when, under artificial design system through the corporate structure of the Washoe tribe, my tribe, there is no sovereignty. You have limited amount of sovereignty given to you by a conquered people, a limited amount of sovereignty given to you by your conquered oppressor.
And the system is based on a foundation of genocide, cultural genocide, and actual genocide. And because it's structured from that wounded space, it's not functional. It's also mimicking our national system, which is not functional. And so there's not very much room for succeeding and thriving within those systems.
We're trying to function in a dysfunction.
Yeah.
So that's where our problem is. So we need to return back to a functional system so our functioning will be right. Otherwise, eventually, we're going to have to be dysfunctional to function in the dysfunctional system,
Right.
to be correct.
Yeah, and I think that's actually a choice that all of us are having to make right now, is whether or not we want to compromise ourselves to fit into a lot of corruption. And I, for one, am not willing to do that.
Well, kind of like the change agentry, it's a failed process. They want us to fail so that they look like they have to come in and help us. And we've allowed it to be for so long that they believe their story now because we don't say anything back. And when we do, we argue amongst each other.
Mm-hmm.
So our oppressors, they're over there going, well, they're arguing. Let's just keep doing that. Let's induce a little chaos because we know what it happened. They used to tell me when I was growing up, they call it throwing chicken feed in the chicken coop.
Mm-hmm.
When you want someone to do something, you just throw the chicken food in there and they'll all scramble for the food.
Yeah. And that can be like commodities. The tribe would get really unhealthy food to eat. Or it could be infiltrating a community with drugs and taking out the well-being of the young people. There's so many ways to put chicken feed into the community. And I think that comes, that kind of leads us to another, like in addition to building our own immune systems, another thing that we can be focusing on is community building and strengthening families, providing structures for families to succeed and thrive, and for people to have homes and, transitional homes if they need that as well. And to make sure that people have enough food to eat, that the community takes care of that. And I know so many of us struggle with feeling like a sense of scarcity, especially, and this year has been, a profound challenge for a lot of people. But when we think about it, a lot of us have a little more than we need, and we can give back to the community, and just be kind-hearted when we go about and we see people who are in need.
Yeah, but back in the old days, they had like a constitution. They would have left the Six Nations element of the Women's Council in the document in which the founding fathers were. If they left the Women's Council in there, they would have aligned themselves with the responsibility of those things that you say are within need.
Mm-hmm.
So by this country operating without the women's voice, without their concerns, we're now left under a man's law, which is very flawed. And so for us now to return back to that, we need to help ourselves by every community. Let's say we're talking about Nevada. You got Gardnerville, Carson, Reno. Those are three groups of areas of land where people live here in Nevada, in my territory. So each one of there would be an indigenous tribunal,
Mm-hmm.
or a community, in that community have an elder tribunal that they can rely on. That community can live under its own design system. So if there's homeless and hungry in there, the other communities that have the same thing can help.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, everybody's living individually in these groups, but they don't even look at each other. Don't even commune together. Now they got masks and they're staying away from each other. So the world we're living in is not designed to help us. It's designed to separate and divide us up, so that there's a hierarchy is actually controlling more land mass, controlling all of the wealth, and pretty soon at this point, administering the prescription to the slaves,
Mm-hmm.
which is population control.
Mm-hmm.
So as we get indigenous or elder tribunals together in these communities, then we'll start functioning again, because we need our elders to be useful again. Because there's a lot of retired people that have gone through school and gone college, and they've done professions their whole life. And don't tell me they don't know nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And why do they have to have an institutional degree to have input, when if a person went to college, they're smart. If a person didn't go to college, what are they, stupid? No, that person lived off the land. There's just as much knowledge on that land person than that person in degree. So there's two levels of degree system in this country.
Mm-hmm.
And that's already been resolved in our eyes too, to where we already understand where our system of knowledge and degree system is. And we allow those that are trusted and perfected people to be the ones who help us to be guiding where we're going.
Mm-hmm.
I would support anybody who I can see does it and who I can see says what they're going to do. Otherwise, you're not a trusted and perfected person. You're somebody else. You're somebody else that, you can be who you want. I'm not telling you what to do. Just don't expect me to listen. Don't expect me to pay attention. I don't waste my time with controversy. I would rather move forward on this new path, because the old path, oh my God, that's all we did.
Mm-hmm.
Seemed like just constant battle and constant dictatorship, and everybody telling you, you're never going to be that way no more. You're never going to do these things. There are people never going to get together. And I think, wow, how can there be so much negative demise in everybody, and nobody ever wants to do anything? As soon as they throw some money up, everybody wants to improve something. We'll have all kind of improvements, this and that. And what do they improve? They improve their spending and they improve their pocket load. Whoever it is that's on the hierarchy of that system. But did they ever get to feed the people that are hungry? Do they ever get food? Do the people that are homeless, do they ever get to have a place to live? No. So that's why I maintain my value system from the spiritual. 51% spirit, 49% body. I let the number 50, my brain, use both those to make my decision.
Mhm.
As the spirit, is the strongest with this partnership, I'm always able to maintain some kind of awareness that I can offer, like to your class, to you, and, to my own circle of people, that guidance.
Mhm.
And that's all I got. But my information comes from my old people. My information comes from the spirit and the old people. My spirit information comes from the spirit, the old people, experience of everything that's around me and everybody that ever gave me.
Mhm.
So I'm not lacking, that's for sure.
That's for sure.
Just a little bit pushy. But I'm glad you've been doing the things you've been doing in this class, in this school, because to teach people a foundation of having tools to be able to provide themselves with their own identity
Mhm.
and their own ability and skills to help what they always say they want to help, or say they understand, then they're actually going to do it.
Yeah.
Because once you give them the tools, it's out of your hands.
They know how to connect to spirit and they know how to walk the path of service.
Yeah, that's what we need. We need more of that so that others can just get back on their path. Because some of it's inherent to us; they'll just come back naturally. But others have to work at it harder because they've been away from their cultural ways for 2,000 years.
Mhm.
Me only the 300 years. In this territory that it hasn't been a dominating thing. It's been what they were saying, save the man, kill the Indian. Yeah, ain't that something? I'm glad they said that because I don't like them Indians either. They're artificial. Get rid of the artificial being. The native people of this land, we all have names.
Mhm.
We were never Indian. So everybody in this continent, remember that. Whenever somebody calls you an Indian, they've just made up your story for you. So, but whatever nation you come from, be proud of it and speak up for what your history is, because it's very important that it's not so much spoken up, but just stood for, knowing that you have a pride in the people that, rightly so, they were, very honorable people, which you yourself have the ability to bring that honor back into your family and your generations after this.
Mhm.
So we've got to create the new paradigm too. Our intentions are very important right now. What we think, what we say, what we feel, what we believe.
Yeah.
So thank you for giving them tools and
Mhm.
for me being able to help along.
Thank you.
So hope we see everybody again,
Yeah.
talk again about this and get some comments or something from people, and maybe we'll start doing this regular
Mhm.
about bringing out subjects about anything that people think that's important.
Mhm.
I mean, I've always watched TV and always said, man, I wish I could say something, want to make a phone call and try to get on a line. And you got to wait. No, it's like, well, whatever. Now we got this computer. I mean, people could just automatically do this, on there and comment.
Yeah.
So this is the thing coming up with Jose,
Oh yeah.
this 15th, 16th, 17th of this month, when we get together, do the cacao ceremony, but we're also doing it with the equinox, because the door is shutting to an old, to a period of time, added all of our intentions into everything that we want to happen. If we go through the door shuts.
Mhm.
And that's what's happening here. It's not going to happen another long period of time. So physically, we have a lot of things that are happening that Jose is actually giving us information of. So if anybody wants to learn the Mayan calendar, he's a historian for his people. He's got all this information that he was raised to teach. And these dream catchers that he's helping us to build all over the world is to give us a school or a place where everybody can go and not have any separation in in who we are. You
Mhm.
can be whoever you are, and we'd be all here together and share our stories.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah. And we each have a dream catcher on our properties at our schools. But Jose Munoz will be coming to Deluxe Property Mountain Eagle School December 15th, 16th, and 17th. And we'll be gathering to explore transformation of the planet and transformation of ourselves. And we'll share some songs and cacao and workshops and Mayan readings and indigenous wisdom.
yeah. No, there's others like that do that play flute and tell stories. You know, it's the 15th, 16th, and 17th. So I'm not sure what day Jose is going to be doing the cacao, but there's still the other 2 days. You know, so as a community, I kind of think that it's this way. We don't know how to get together and organize together anymore. To for me, I provided the property. I provided that area for us all to go. So now it's up to the other parts of the community to come together and know, be respectful of those that are there, but also at the same time, we like to hear music. We like to hear stories. I mean, it's all good. I like to
Yeah.
see others there too, you know, like Jim Eaglesmith and Kim Best.
Mhm.
Tuck Splash, she plays them gongs and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, things like that are good because it's a community formula.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
it's just like that. It's just like we're winging it right now
Mhm.
until we get to be real humans again.
Yeah.
You know, so we can't tell everybody what to do, and so it's really hard to tell anybody what you would want. All I'm doing is providing the space and protecting that space for everybody. You know, now it's up to everybody to be together and create something that's going to be that everybody can participate in.
Yeah, contribute as a community, as a family.
Yeah.
So, so if you want more information about that, feel free to leave comments or message us, and we'll be happy to send you an invitation to that. And yeah, I'm kind of feeling like we want to bring in a prayer to close this session today.
Mm-hmm. You want to do it?
You do it.
Digoy, Baba, LL, Fulo. Tatagiti Kitala, Vasugak, Kamanga, Kasugak, Kamanga, Hangalauti, Tonalauti, Mamelti, and Pawalo. Ida, Kasha, Hoop, they married, like, grandfathers and grandmothers. May the blessings of the past people, their hardships and their stories and their passing this information on, that we are able to use that today and become the physical being that the ancestors are rising up from the earth back onto the physical plane, and that we step into those ancestor roles and become the new elders of the new paradigm into this new life, and be good examples for the next generation to see, so they become good examples for the next generation to see, and so on and so forth, so that we become happy people again. So know how to celebrate and have fun and laugh.
Mhm.
I mean, the serious parts are there, but there's too much of us involved in that seriousness. You know, let the ones that can take care of that strength so they can do that. And those of us that can celebrate and have fun and know what to do, that people forget their pain and their hardships and hard times, let them get stronger. And let the kids laugh again. Let them be a part of the family again. Let's not chase them away and tell them, go play. This is adult stuff. You know, kids are part of the whole family. Old people are part of the whole family. The adults don't separate yourself. You're part of the family. So may the Creator bless us all in this life, and may we bless this life with as much as it that we can do as a physical being. Mangawi, mangawi, mangawi.
Amen. Thank you for joining us, and we appreciate your love and support, and we are sending you love and gratitude and blessings, oceans of blessings and love.
Yeah.
Thank
May it
you.
guide you way on,
Guide your way on, guide your way on.